Let's start with a fact most people never really accept. Everything you see, touch, or use in your life began as someone's idea. Every building, every business, every breakthrough started as a single spark in the mind of a person willing to imagine something that didn't yet exist. That's the quiet superpower behind every achievement you admire: creative vision. Imagination isn't just for artists, inventors, or creative types. It's the driving force behind every major success, every leap forward, every solution to a problem that once seemed impossible. In fact, the world you live in right now is shaped by the imagination of others, good or bad. The real question is, will you use yours to shape your own future, or just live in someone else's vision? Here's a truth too many people ignore. Most adults let their imagination atrophy. As kids, we dream with no limits, castles in the sky, new worlds, wild adventures. But somewhere along the way, we're taught to get real, to stick to the script, to trade vision for routine. The price? We stop innovating. We settle for good enough. We become bystanders in our own lives. But here's the opportunity. Your imagination is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every breakthrough in history started with a simple question. What if? What if there's a better way? What if I can solve this problem? What if I refuse to accept the limits others set for me? Creative vision isn't about escaping reality, it's about expanding it. It means seeing not just what is, but what could be. It means looking at obstacles and seeing options, looking at failure and seeing fuel for the next experiment. It's about holding on to your dreams long enough to make them real. Let's get practical. If you want to build your imagination, start by feeding it. Read widely, expose yourself to new ideas, challenge your own assumptions. Take time every day, even 5 minutes, to daydream about what's possible. Ask yourself, if nothing stood in my way, what would I create, solve, or build? Another key. Write your ideas down. Don't judge them. Don't edit, just capture them. Most of your best breakthroughs won't arrive fully formed. They'll come as fragments, sparks, or questions. But those scraps are gold. The more you collect, the more you'll start to see patterns and connections that others miss. Creative vision also thrives on collaboration. Talk to people outside your usual circle. Ask what they're dreaming about, what problems they're stuck on, what wild ideas they wish they could try. Sometimes your biggest breakthrough is hiding in someone else's half-finished thought. Finally, remember, all progress is made by the unreasonable person, the one bold enough to imagine something better and persistent enough to make it happen. That's not magic. It's the disciplined use of creative imagination. So, as we begin this journey, I challenge you, reclaim your power to imagine. Don't wait for permission. Don't let fear or routine shrink your vision. Because the future belongs to those who dare to dream and who act on those dreams. Let's dig deeper, because creative vision isn't just something you're born with, it's something you can develop day by day. The world's most successful people aren't always the smartest, the wealthiest, or the most connected. They're the ones who dare to think differently, to picture a better reality, and to work toward it even when everyone else is stuck in how things have always been. You might be thinking, that sounds great, but how do I actually make it happen? Start with a simple mindset shift. Give yourself permission to imagine. Most adults have been trained to filter every thought through practicality. Is it realistic? Is it responsible? But the greatest breakthroughs didn't start with realism. They started with curiosity and courage. The truth is, your imagination needs freedom before it can deliver you something truly valuable. Here's a practice. Spend 10 minutes every day letting your mind wander without censorship. Pick a problem you're facing or a goal you want to achieve and ask, what's another way? What hasn't been tried? If there were no limits, what would the solution look like? Don't worry about being logical at this stage. Let the ideas come. Write them down, even the wild ones. The point isn't to find the right answer right away. It's to expand your vision, to flex the creative muscle you may not have used in years. Now, don't confuse imagination with fantasy. Fantasy is about escape daydreaming just for comfort. Imagination is about creation, turning dreams into plans and plans into action. Creative vision is always tethered to reality, but it stretches what's possible. It gives you options when everyone else sees dead ends. Here's another secret. Creative vision is contagious. When you start thinking bigger, you inspire those around you to do the same. Leaders who cultivate and celebrate new ideas, even if they sound strange at first, are the ones who spark revolutions in business, art, science, and even daily life. Give yourself and your team, your family, your friends room to experiment, to brainstorm, to play with possibilities. But don't expect every idea to work. In fact, expect most of them not to. The genius of imagination is that it gives you many shots at finding something extraordinary. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 0 ways that won't work." That's the spirit. Every bad idea is just a stepping stone to a better one. Here's your challenge for the week. Pick one area of your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's work, maybe a relationship, maybe a habit. Instead of asking, "Why is this so hard?" ask, "How could this be easy, fun, totally different?" Write down every answer that pops up, no matter how impractical. Let yourself be surprised. Remember, your creative vision is your competitive edge in a world of copycats and safe bets. Use it, practice it, protect it from the voices inside and outside that try to shrink your dreams. Because imagination, fueled by action, is what turns ordinary people into world changers. Now, let's get specific. Napoleon Hill talked about two kinds of imagination, synthetic and creative. Most people don't realize it, but both are within your reach, and both can make the difference between average results and world-class breakthroughs. Synthetic imagination is your ability to combine existing ideas, concepts, or resources in new ways. You don't need to invent the light bulb from scratch. Sometimes, all you need is to take two things that already exist and put them together in a way nobody has before. Think about the smartphone. It's just a phone, a camera, and a computer merged into a single device. Or the first fast food restaurant. What happens if you take the speed of a factory and combine it with food service? Boom, a whole new industry. This is the kind of imagination you use every day, even if you don't call it that. When you tweak a recipe, reorganize your workspace, or solve a household problem with tools you already have, you're practicing synthetic imagination. It's practical, fast, and available to anyone who's willing to experiment. Creative imagination, on the other hand, is about receiving entirely new ideas, those flashes of insight or intuition that seem to come from nowhere. Some call it a gut feeling. Others call it inspiration. It often happens when you're relaxed, open, or working on something completely unrelated. History is full of stories. Archimedes in his bath, Newton under the apple tree, an inventor daydreaming on a park bench. These moments feel magical, but they're really just your mind connecting dots in the background, making something new from what you've experienced, read, and observed. The good news? Both types of imagination get sharper the more you use them. Challenge yourself to borrow ideas from different fields, cultures, or industries and remix them for your own needs. Pay attention to flashes of inspiration. Don't dismiss them as random. Capture them, explore them, see where they might lead. Here's a practical exercise. This week, pick a product, process, or habit you use every day. Ask, how could I improve this by combining it with something totally unrelated? Maybe it's blending two hobbies. Maybe it's mixing two business models. Maybe it's solving a personal challenge with an approach borrowed from nature, sports, or art. Write down your combinations, no matter how strange they seem. Then, set aside a few minutes each day for creative downtime. Go for a walk, take a long shower, meditate, or just stare out the window. Notice what ideas pop up when your mind is at ease. Keep a notebook or phone handy. Those flashes are gold. Remember, the world rewards people who can connect dots, who see what others miss, and who act on those visions. Imagination is not just for dreamers. It's for doers, for leaders, for anyone ready to shape the future instead of repeating the past. So the next time you face a challenge or want to level up, don't just ask, what's possible? Ask, what could I combine, remix, or invent? Because every step forward in your life starts with the courage to imagine something more. Let's be honest, it's easy to talk about creative vision, but the real challenge is holding on to it in the grind of everyday life. Most people lose their imagination not because they're incapable, but because they run into blockers, fear, routine, or criticism that slowly dim their spark. The first and biggest blocker? Fear of looking foolish. From a young age, we're taught not to stand out, not to waste time on wild ideas. But here's the truth. Every breakthrough was once considered ridiculous. The airplane, the internet, the idea that humans could walk on the moon all were laughed at, dismissed, or attacked. The lesson? If people aren't questioning your idea, you're probably not dreaming big enough. The second enemy of creative vision is routine. Habits can be powerful, but left unchecked, they create mental ruts. If every day looks the same, and every problem gets the same answer, your imagination goes to sleep. The antidote is variety. Shake up your routine. Try new experiences. Take a different route to work. Listen to a new genre of music, or read outside your field. Even small changes wake up your brain and invite new connections. Next, criticism and self-doubt. We all crave approval, and nothing shuts down imagination faster than someone saying, "That'll never work," or "Who do you think you are?" Sometimes the loudest critic lives in your own head. Here's the secret. You don't need permission to imagine. Give yourself space to brainstorm without judgment. Reserve criticism for later when it's time to refine. Remember, most critics are just defending their own comfort zones. How do you fight back against these imagination killers? First, protect your dream time. Schedule moments in your week just to explore, sketch, brainstorm, or invent. Guard it like any other important meeting. Next, surround yourself with people who challenge and encourage your creativity, not just those who agree with you, but those who expand your thinking and support your experiments. Here's a practical tip. Create an idea journal. Every day, write down at least one new idea, big or small, useful or just for fun. Don't edit, don't explain. Over time, this practice builds your creative muscle and shows you just how much is possible when you refuse to censor yourself. Finally, remember that creative vision is not just about big inventions. Sometimes, it's about finding a better way to do the small things, streamlining a task, solving a family problem, brightening someone's day. The more you practice in little ways, the more confident you'll become in tackling bigger dreams. So, as you move forward, make a promise. Don't let fear, habit, or outside voices shrink your vision. Protect your imagination, nurture it, and give it room to grow. Because every leap forward, personal, professional, or global, starts with someone who refused to play small. Imagination on its own is just potential energy. What sets achievers apart is their ability to turn vision into action, to take that spark of what if, and transform it into a plan, a habit, and eventually a result. The world is full of dreamers, but it rewards the ones who get their hands dirty and build what they imagine. The bridge between imagination and reality? It's action, persistent, focused, sometimes messy action. The best ideas in the world mean nothing if they stay in your notebook. Progress comes when you test, tweak, and execute, even before you feel fully ready. Here's where most people stumble. They wait for perfect conditions. I'll start when I have more time, money, or support. But the truth is, creative vision grows sharper through use, not through waiting. Start small. Pick one idea, no matter how rough around the edges. Take a single step. Build a prototype. Share it with a friend. Launch a test version. The key is motion. As you move forward, your imagination gets more data, more feedback, and more courage to refine and expand your vision. Let's get practical. Develop a daily creativity habit. Set aside a few minutes each day for focused brainstorming or tinkering. Treat it like exercise. You don't expect to run a marathon the first time out, but every step strengthens your capacity. Use prompts like, "How could I improve this?" or "What's a new way to solve this old problem?" to trigger ideas. Another powerful tool, visualization. Athletes, inventors, and top entrepreneurs use it constantly. Picture your idea as if it's already real. See yourself using it, sharing it, or building it. Imagine the obstacles and visualize overcoming them. This mental rehearsal primes your brain to spot opportunities and solutions when you start taking real action. Don't go it alone. Share your vision with people you trust. Let them poke holes, offer support, or simply listen. Often, just saying your idea out loud gives it new shape and sparks connections you couldn't see alone. And don't be discouraged by failures. Every time you try, you learn. Every version teaches you something the last didn't. Edison famously said he didn't fail, he just found thousands of ways that didn't work. The willingness to act, adapt, and keep going is what separates inventors from dreamers. So here's your challenge. Pick one idea from your imagination journal, no matter how unfinished, and take a concrete step on it this week. Don't worry about perfection, worry about motion, because every dream that's ever changed the world started with a single, imperfect, real world action. Remember, creative vision is power, but only when you put it to work. So you've got the spark, you've taken your first steps. Now comes the test. Will you keep going when reality pushes back? Because here's a universal law: every worthwhile idea faces resistance. The path from vision to victory is never a straight line. There will be setbacks, doubters, even moments when your own confidence wavers. But if you persist, if you adapt, learn, and keep your creative flame alive, you'll turn obstacles into fuel. The world is littered with unfinished dreams projects, abandoned after the first setback, inventions shelved because of one harsh review, businesses closed after a single misstep. What separates the innovators from the almosts is resilience. They see every problem as a puzzle, every failure as feedback, and every delay as a chance to grow sharper. Here's a reality check. Your first version won't be perfect. Your best idea will probably need a dozen tweaks before it finds its true form. That's not a sign to quit. It's proof you're doing the real work. Creative vision lives in those who refuse to give up on their ideas just because the journey gets hard. Let's get tactical. When you hit a wall, step back and reframe the challenge. Ask, what is this setback trying to teach me? What can I try next? Celebrate progress, not just big wins. Every tiny improvement, every lesson learned is a victory on the road to your goal. Surround yourself with supporters, not just cheerleaders. Seek people who will challenge you, question your blind spots, and remind you of your why when things get tough. Remember, even the boldest visionaries had rough drafts, detours, and critics. Edison tested thousands of materials for his light bulb. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. J.com, K. Rowling's Harry Potter was rejected by a dozen publishers. The common thread? None of them let rejection be the end of their story. Here's your action for the week. The next time your idea gets shot down, or the results disappoint, pause, take a breath, ask, what have I learned? What will I try next? Write it down. Every time you get back up, you make your creative vision stronger and yourself more unstoppable. Above all, protect your imagination. The world will always have room for more critics, but it desperately needs more builders, dreamers, and doers. Be the one who keeps going, refining, and daring, because creative vision is a journey, not a single stroke of genius. It's the fire that keeps you moving through setbacks, through doubt, and all the way to results. Let's bust a myth. The lone genius, inventing world-changing ideas in total isolation, is mostly fiction. Sure, brilliant insights sometimes happen alone, but real breakthroughs, lasting inventions, and powerful movements almost always come from collaboration, people bouncing ideas off each other, building on one another's sparks, and turning a good idea into something truly extraordinary. Creative vision isn't just a solo act, it's a team sport. Think about the greatest companies, discoveries, or works of art in history. Nearly everyone started with a conversation, a partnership, or a mastermind group. Napoleon Hill himself was obsessed with the mastermind principle, the idea that two or more minds working in harmony create a third, greater mind, a force bigger than the sum of its parts. Here's why collaboration amplifies imagination. Different perspectives challenge you to see beyond your blind spots. The energy of shared enthusiasm keeps motivation high, especially when the road gets tough. Constructive feedback polishes raw ideas into diamonds. A diverse team brings unexpected connections, mixing skills, experiences, and viewpoints that spark solutions one person alone would never see. So, how do you make this work in your life? Seek out people with different strengths and backgrounds. Don't just brainstorm with those who think exactly like you. Invite in the outliers, the skeptics, the dreamers. Share your rough ideas early. Don't wait until everything's perfect. Let others poke holes, suggest tweaks, or spot potential you've missed. Celebrate co-creation. Give credit generously. The best collaborators want to be part of something bigger than their own egos. And don't stop at your immediate circle. Read widely, talk to strangers, attend workshops, or join online communities. Sometimes the spark you need comes from the most unexpected place, a chance conversation, a line in a book, a perspective from another industry. Remember, collaboration isn't just about agreeing with each other. It's about healthy debate, the courage to disagree, and the trust to challenge and be challenged. It's the tension between ideas that creates real innovation. Here's your action this week. Take one idea you're working on and invite someone else to help you improve it. Ask for honest feedback, new angles, or creative risks you wouldn't take alone. Watch how quickly your vision grows, sharpens, or even takes a new direction entirely. Because while individual imagination can change your own world, collaborative imagination has the power to change the world. That's the true legacy of creative vision, ideas that multiply, inspire, and live far beyond you. It's one thing to have a spark of imagination. It's another to make creativity your default setting, something you bring to every problem, project, and challenge, day after day. The most successful people don't rely on a once-in-a-lifetime eureka moment. They turn innovation into a habit. That's how you scale up your vision from a single idea to a legacy of ongoing breakthroughs. So how do you make imagination a way of life, not just a lucky break? Start by building systems that support it. Give yourself and your team structured opportunities to brainstorm, experiment, and take creative risks. Hold regular idea sessions where no suggestion is off limits. Make a practice of asking, what's one new way we could do this, at every meeting and every routine. The secret is consistency. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every day. Small, regular acts of imagination compound over time. The new process that saves an hour a week, the tweak that doubles your results, the wild idea that turns into your next signature move all come from making creativity a constant companion. Another key, track your creative process. Document what works, what flops, and what you learn from each experiment. Over time, you'll see patterns. When you're most creative, which environments spark your best thinking, which partners lift you higher. This self-awareness lets you engineer more breakthroughs on purpose. Don't be afraid to steal like an artist. Study great innovators in every field, not to copy, but to adapt and remix. Inspiration is everywhere. A customer's suggestion, a competitor's failure, even a child's question. Make it a habit to ask, how could I use this in my world? If you lead others, champion creativity in your culture. Reward experimentation, even when it doesn't lead to instant results. Let people know that new ideas are not just welcome, but expected. Nothing kills imagination faster than the fear of being punished for trying something different. Remember, your imagination is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you encourage it in yourself and others, the more natural it becomes to look for new angles, options, and opportunities. Here's your action for the week. Choose one routine or process in your work or life and challenge yourself or your team to reimagine it. Try 3 new approaches, no matter how small. Measure the results. Even if only one works, you're building the muscle that leads to bigger innovations tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, the people who make the biggest impact aren't those who had one great idea. They're the ones who learned to make imagination a habit and innovation a way of life. If you've ever chased a big idea or built something from scratch, you know the truth. Creative energy isn't endless. Even the most inspired minds hit walls periods where nothing seems fresh, motivation fades, or life's daily grind threatens to drown out that spark. The difference between occasional inventors and true visionaries is this: they learn how to keep their imagination fueled, even when inspiration doesn't come easy. First, understand that creative fatigue is normal. It's a sign you're pushing boundaries, not a sign you're failing. But like any high-performance engine, your imagination needs regular care. Make rest and renewal non-negotiable. Take walks, enjoy music, meditate, or spend time on a hobby that has nothing to do with your main project. When you step away, you're not being lazy, you're letting your subconscious work its magic in the background. Build recovery into your process. The world's best creators know when to sprint and when to step back. They take breaks before they're burned out. They change environments, seek new input, or collaborate with people outside their usual circle. Often, the solution to a creative block isn't grinding harder, it's changing the scenery, the pace, or the company you keep. Stay curious. Curiosity is the fuel for long-term imagination. Make a habit of asking new questions, exploring unfamiliar topics, or learning new skills just for fun. The more you feed your mind, the more connections it will make. Even useless facts can lead to breakthroughs down the line. Guard your mindset against cynicism. The world is full of critics and realists who will happily remind you why your ideas won't work. Protect your inner circle. Spend time with people who believe in growth, experiment, and progress, not just safety. Encourage each other to dream and try, not just to survive. And don't forget to celebrate small wins. Every creative step forward, no matter how minor, is proof that you're still moving, still growing, still capable of imagining new possibilities. Keep a victory log where you jot down ideas you tried, lessons you learned, and even failures that taught you something. Over time, you'll see how far you've come and fuel your courage to go further. Here's your action for the week. Pick one area where you're feeling stuck or uninspired. Instead of forcing progress, try the opposite. Step back, change your routine, reach out to someone new, or do something playful and unrelated to your goal. Then, when you return, notice what new ideas surface often. Your best insights are waiting just beyond the grind. Because the true masters of creative vision aren't just dreamers, they're marathoners. They know that innovation isn't a single sprint, but a lifelong journey of fueling, resting, and reigniting the imagination. Let's bring this home. If you remember just one thing, make it this. Every breakthrough, every new opportunity, every leap forward, big or small, starts with the courage to imagine. The world isn't changed by those who only follow the rules, but by those who dare to ask, "What if?" and then put that question into action. Imagination isn't reserved for the select few. It's not a gift, it's a discipline. It's built and sharpened by practice, by persistence, by facing setbacks and getting back up again. Your creative vision is a tool you can wield every day in every situation. Whether you're launching a business, leading a team, solving a family challenge, or simply wanting more from life, your ability to picture something better is your greatest advantage. Don't fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect idea or the right time. Action is the magic ingredient. You don't need to see the entire path, just take the first step. Every time you turn a possibility into reality, you train your mind to believe in what's possible next. Every experiment, every question, every time you reach beyond what you know, you expand not just your own life, but the lives of everyone around you. Remember, your imagination is contagious. When you live and work with vision, you lift others up. You become the person who inspires teams, who finds solutions where others see only problems, who leads families, companies, and even entire communities to places no one else could have seen. So here's your challenge. Don't let the noise, the critics, or even your own doubts shrink your vision. Protect it. Invest in it. Make it a daily habit, a part of your identity, your secret edge. Use it to solve, to serve, to invent, and to uplift. At the end of the day, the future will belong to the creative, the builders, the connectors, the dreamers who act. Decide now to be one of them. Take the ideas you've collected, the sparks you've felt, and turn them into motion. Start today, because your imagination, set in motion, is the most powerful force you'll ever possess. Build, create, lead, and never ever stop imagining.